Welcome back to We Need to Talk. Everybody, of course, this is the show that looks at football on the internet over the past 7 days. The 7 days that seen Bonucci and the boys fully letting us England fans have it.
He's coming wrong! He's coming wrong!
Fabrizio Romano getting involved in the celebrations. It's the end of all time, isn't it? And Messi finally getting his hands on an international trophy. Anyway, today we need to talk about our predictions. Ugh. Okay, you guys know how this works by now. I'm going to be looking back at our pre-Euro 2020 predictions, mine and the whole of Football Dailies, and analysing it. And as usual, I'm sure it's not going to be pretty. But before we get into it, I want to hear from you guys at home. What predictions did you get right? What predictions did you get wrong? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be replying to the best. And I don't want any liars in the comments. Be honest for once. And whilst you're down there, hit that like button. For once, I said that, mugging you guys all off. I didn't mean that. Please hit the like button, I'm sorry. Alright, let's just crack straight into it. I've kind of fast-forwarded the predictions to when we were talking about the groups. I don't know what I was rambling about for 2 minutes, as I have in this video, but let's just crack on. I've been backing Italy as dark horses. I think they win this group. Now, there's going to be some controversy throughout this video. I'm telling you now. Because people are now saying that I can't say Italy are dark horses. They're too good to be called dark horses. Well, nobody at the start of the tournament really said they were going to win it. I didn't even think they were going to win it. Is that not what a dark horse is? Somebody who not many people are saying stand a chance of winning it? I don't know. For me, Italy count as dark horses, as Spain would have counted as dark horses. Maybe I'm just patting myself on the back. I probably am. The Turks have looked really strong, haven't they? A lot of people putting them as the dark horse. Some people might be having them in and around that first place. It's a little bit of a surprise package to beat Italy. Fallen heavy into the trap of the Turkish side, didn't I? I mean, that looks awful now. But I wasn't the only one predicting that Turkey were going to do well at this European Championships. But yeah, I mean, that looks stinking now, doesn't it? Obviously, I've then gone for Wales third, Switzerland fourth. I mean, not miles off. Obviously, Turkey did finish bottom of this group. So that was the worst prediction from Group A by a mile. Alright, we're moving on to Group B then. There's no doubt about this one. Belgium will be topping it. I can see Romelu Lukaku being top goal scorer in this tournament. Ooh. Look at this group. Russia, Denmark, Finland. Not quite. People could be getting pastings in this group. Having said that, Denmark, the squad's not too bad. And Christian Eriksen has found some form towards the back end of the season. So I'm going to put them in second. I'll go Russia in third. And Timu Pukki. Will he come back to bite me yet again? Probably. But he didn't. He didn't come back to bite me at all, did he, across the course of this tournament? Now, it wasn't perfect, was it? Obviously, Russia were pretty appalling in this tournament, but no surprises. That was quite an easy prediction. Moving on to Group C then. This is one of the harder groups to call, I think. In fact, this might be the hardest group to call a winner from, because the Netherlands have just been so underwhelming under Frank de Boer. They've been awful at times. Memphis Depay, and they were pretty awful in this tournament as well at times, weren't they, Holland? I mean, crashing out in the manner they did, it's just unacceptable. This is going to be a tough one. I will go the Netherlands top. I think the Ukraine might do okay here under Shevchenko. Second. The Ukraine did do all right there. Give me that one. Come on. Do you know what? This is where I'm going to put in my shocker. I think North Macedonia third, Austria fourth. Why? Why do I do it? Why do you do it, Joe? It's awful. England are going to top this group. I'm backing the boys. It's coming home. God, if we don't top this group, we're in trouble. Second place, I think, is up for grabs. I think Czech Republic have some really, really top players at the moment. So I might go for the Czech Republic in second, I think. Croatia, I'm not convinced about. I can see Croatia having a bit of a whiff this tournament. And I say this
ahead of Sunday, which is definitely going to come back to bite me on the arse. I'm going to go Croatia bottom, Scotland third.
Ooh. So England obviously did top it, so not a terrible prediction from me there. Czech Republic, okay, they didn't finish second, but across the course of the tournament, they probably were the second best team to come out of Group D. Quite frankly, they were pretty impressive. Totally wrong about Scotland. Scotland were really poor in my mind. Maybe I was a bit harsh on Croatia as well. I have to be honest, I think in my head I was overplaying how much age are caught up with this side when there's still some extremely talented players that aren't of that age out sort of category. So yeah, it's not a great prediction from Group D, is it? Let's have it right.
Group E then, I still think Spain topped this group. I know that people have been
Well, they did get out of the group, and they actually performed better in the knockout stages comparatively to how they performed in the opening 2 group games. Of course, drew their first 2 group games, went on to be much better in the knockout stages. So I was wrong about the position, but I was probably right about giving Spain a little bit more credit than some people who had written them off as flops.
I think I'll go for Sweden in second. I'm backing Alexander Isak to step up in Zlatan's absence.
That's not a bad one. I mean, it's quite predictable that Alexander Isak was going to step up in Zlatan's absence, to be honest with you. But I don't think any of us, maybe more so myself, expected him to be able to come in and dominate a European tournament like he did. I'm not saying he was the best striker at the tournament, but he was certainly one of my favourite strikers to watch, especially on the ball when he starts gliding past players and picking it up a little bit deeper. He's an absolute joy. So this pat on the back FC, that's not too bad. You know, that's a sort of 5 out of 10 prediction.
Poland in third. I reckon they might be one of the better third-place qualifiers, though. Robert Lewandowski might score some goals in this group. He's only scored 2 at international tournaments.
Oh, no. Poland were terrible. Poland were not one of the better third-place qualifiers, although Lewandowski did score a couple goals.
Group F. Here we go, then. The group of death. I think the French top it. I'd be surprised if the French don't top this group. Having said that, they weren't great in the groups when they won the World Cup, were they? They were slightly boring at times. And I think that probably still hold true with Euro 2020 as well, to be honest with you. I didn't think the French were particularly unbelievable at the group stages. Obviously, were poor in the knockouts against the Swiss. Only qualified top of the group on, 5 points? So, yes, they're an exceptional group of players, but they do and have struggled, actually, at times in the group stages since 2018 and including 2018. Portugal in second. I'm back in that front line to get... No. Hungarians are going to be bringing up the rear of Group F.
So not quite right in Group F, it has to be said. I probably should have got Germany and Portugal the other way round, but I think you can kind of forgive me for that one. It was a bit of a 50-50 coin toss between the two.
Predict the 4 third best placed teams. Okay, so Germany and Poland, I think, will be definitely in there. I think
what I will say about this whole predictor app is that when I predicted the 4 third place teams, it just randomised them onto a side of the draw. And so what I think you'll see is that some of them went onto the wrong side of the draw comparatively to the side they actually went on, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I think the Welsh might sneak through, and I think the Scots might sneak through. I've gone quite home nation biased here, and I can already see the comments kicking off. I don't care. I can see you writing below, these predictions stink. Of course they do. I'm rubbish at predictions. All right.
Talking of that, what do the comments say? So you're saying England will beat Portugal, Spain, Germany and France in the same tournament? I mean, they beat Germany, didn't they? They didn't have to beat any of the others because they pretty much beat themselves. But England did go further than any of them. Wales always seem to turn up to the Euros. Literally only happened once. I think they were alright, actually, the Welsh, at this Euros, despite the fact they got spanked by the Danes. Didn't think they embarrassed themselves. England have way too much for the Germans. You know, what can I say? 2-0. Pat on the back, FC's at it again. Bilal says, Joe, personally, I really like you being optimistic because strong belief is the first step to success. As a massive Italian fan, I predicted them to win it. Bilal. This man just predicted England to win the Euros. They won't even make it to a semi-final. You nailed it, Lencho. Nailed it. Anyway, let's carry on with these predictions and see what else we've got in here. So we're at the round of 16 now. Let's just watch what I predict, pretty much.
All right, we're into the round of 16 now.
Is there an echo in it? See, this is what I mean by the randomization of this predictor app. It didn't quite mirror what the actual randomization of the Euro 2020 was, because if it had, then Belgium would have been playing Germany, because I predicted them to finish third in Group F. Portugal did, and obviously Belgium beat Portugal. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there, because it's a bit complicated, but a little bit flawed, this predictor, and it was UEFA's own one. To be honest with you, I'm just going to skip through now to see what my predictions were. Okay, so on that top side of the draw, we had Belgium going through against Poland. Obviously, Belgium did go through. They went through against Portugal. We had Italy going through against Ukraine, meaning that it was a Belgium-Italy quarter-final in that one. And, of course, it was a Belgium-Italy quarter-final in Euro 2020 as well. I think I got the semi-final wrong on that side, though. I think I said Belgium would go through against Italy. We'll have a look in a minute. And France-Sweden, of course, ended up being France versus Switzerland. Again, probably because I got my predictions wrong in the group stage. This is all getting very complicated. England beat Portugal. I'm calling it now revenge. Obviously, England didn't beat Portugal. They had to beat Germany. But either way, that was an exceptional result. I obviously said that Germany would be the third place qualifier, so they haven't quite matched up. And then Turkey. Everybody's been talking about Turkey. Really think Burak Yilmaz is going to have a very good tournament. Oh, Joseph. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Honestly, that Turkey team looked like it couldn't have cut it against SE Dons. The backline's pretty decent. I'm going to put them to go through against Denmark. Oh, I got that one wrong. That was really what scuppered these predictions. Turkey beating Denmark. Denmark was sensational throughout this course of this tournament and should have gone through on that side of the draw. So, not a particularly good prediction, that one. Let's go back up to the quarterfinals then, and Belgium will beat Italy. Oh, Joe! Oof. Why do you have to say it with such punch? Belgium will beat Italy. Shut up, you knob. I think Italy, despite the renaissance work from Roberto Mancini, won't have enough against Romelu Lukaku. Kevin De Bruyne will be fully fit at that stage. I think they've got probably one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament as well, in Thibaut Courtois. Oh, God, it ended up being Donnarumma as well. I'm literally cringing watching myself here. So I think that side, the only way Italy can get them is if they get balls in behind that ageing backline, you know. And they did. The left side of Belgium's side is pretty weak, especially if they play Torgan Hazard as a left wing back and have to play Vertonghen as a left centre back. That could be exposed, you know, if they choose to play Chiesa out as a right winger under Mancini. But I'm going Belgium. You'll be wrong. Again. So I've obviously said a Belgium-France semi-final when it was, in fact, an Italy-Spain semi-final. Spain on the wrong side of the draw here because they finished second in their group, and I've obviously predicted them to finish first. So on the other side of the draw, I've predicted England-Germany to be the semi-final. So not doing particularly well here. I am going to get one finalist right. Obviously, I predicted England to be in the final. On the other side of the draw, I just didn't have the belief in Italy that I should have done. Versus Germany, it's very tasty, isn't it? France v Belgium, this could be a stunning semi-final, and I think France still have too much in that one. Belgium's defence to be exposed, the ageing defence to be exposed by the young pace of Kylian Mbappe. Oh, God. Honestly, this is just getting ugly now, isn't it? It's just a beatdown of myself. England, Germany. England to have way too much for the Germans. That backline of Hummels and Rudiger to get exposed. Harry Kane, goals. Phil Foden, goal. If you haven't realised by this stage, I wish I'd have just said Raheem Sterling goal then, and it would have really topped it off. But yeah, we did have too much for the Germans. We were better than the Germans. Yes, they had the Thomas Müller chance, but we were pretty exceptional in that game. Even though we flopped it in the final, England were good against Germany. I am being extremely biased to England. You know, I'm hopeful. The closer the tournament gets, the more I think it's coming home. England to beat Germany in the semis. A final of France versus England. England shock winners over France on penalties. Oh! That's like a dagger to my heart on penalties as well. And the depression kicks back in.
In the final, they've been practicing their penalties for months. My shock winners of the Euro.
Well, they haven't been practicing them well, have they? Oh.
Those will be England beating France in the final. And those were the routes to...
Oh, that's just depressing. England lost in the final on penalties. Not great. Overall, not great. Didn't back the Italians enough. Obviously, believed in England. The route England had was far easier than the route I predicted them to go through here. But they did get to the final. So I was 50% right in the finalists. But overall, I would give myself a D- for these predictions. I just remembered as well, actually, we got all the Football Daily boys to send in their predictions, didn't we? So we can have a look at them now, too. Did anybody predict Italy as a winner? Nobody predicted Italy as a winner. Me, Zach, and McCubbin probably got the closest there because we all predicted England. At least we got to the final. Hamill, Doogie, George, Obba, Sonny all went for France. Henry went for Portugal. Golden Boot then we've got 1 Kane, 2 Kane, 3 Kanes from Obba, Zach, and Hamill. Wasn't to be. We've got Doogie. And just Doogie predicting Kylian Mbappe as top goal scorer. Doogie, that's a whiff. I went Lukaku. Henry went Lukaku. That's another whiff. Lewandowski. George and McCubbin went for. I think that was a risky pick, to be honest with you boys, even though he might have ended up on the same amount of goals as Harry Kane. I don't know. But at the start of the tournament, that still feels like a risk. Overall, though, nobody's got a prediction right yet, and we're 3 down. Best young player, Hamill, Pedri. Hamill. Sensational, son. Absolutely sensational. Pedri was the best young player, and I think that was a risky pick. Wasn't even sure he was going to play any minutes, to be honest with you. But he played nearly every minute of every game and was just a superstar. Chiesa, Doogie went for. I think he was probably one of Italy's outstanding players. He was, for me, their outstanding forward. Even in that final, he was just so dangerous. I went for Mount. Zach went for Mount. McCubbin went for Bellingham. Barely played a minute. Mount, Bellingham, Foden. Oh, awful. There's a Joao Felix in there as well. I don't think he played a minute, did he? He might have got... Maybe he did get like 20 minutes, but not loads. Hamill's dark horse. Turkey. Christopher. See, there's a bit of controversy here because me, Doogie, Obba all went for Italy as our dark horses, and they won it. So if you believe that Italy can count as a dark horse, then that's a great prediction. If you think that Italy's too big of a nation to count as a dark horse, then obviously we've gone for the easy choice, some would say. I think Denmark from Zach and Henry's a really good shout. McCubbin going Poland again. Mikey. This list is looking sus. Except for the Dutch, because the Dutch were floppers, weren't they? So Hamill, McCubbin, good shouts on the Dutch. I went for the Croatians with Henry, despite saying otherwise, I don't think you can have them as the biggest flop. They weren't incredible, but they weren't awful either. Sonny had Belgium. I suppose they were a little bit of a flop. Any other ones? Oh, obviously Spain. 4 people saying Spain. Doogie, Zach, George, and Obaseki. I don't mean call Spain flop since they got to the semi-final. I think they proved a lot of people wrong at this tournament. So those were overall our predictions. I think the best one was probably Hamill, shouting out Pedri as the young player of the tournament. But yeah, overall, that stinks. Honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 times 6 is 54. Of the 54 predictions, if you count Italy, if we're being kind, we had Pedri right, 3 Italians. I'll give the Danes to be kind as well. Netherlands, Croatia, Belgium. 10 or 11 predictions of our 54 correct. Doesn't spell for great. Doesn't spell. That's just awful, isn't it? I mean, I've just run out of words. 11 out of 54. Alright, so that was my reaction to ours and my Euro 2020 predictions. Not particularly brilliant, but what can you do as a prediction? It's always going to be pretty difficult. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Like I said at the start, let me know what was your best prediction, what was your worst prediction in the comments, and I'll be replying to them. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.